Welcome back, our disciplined guys. So it's time to talk about refeeds. Refeeds are also short diet breaks. So it's for all our people who are on a diet, who are on a cut, and they want to get fuller again. So what are refeeds? Refeeds are temporary increases in calorie intake during a diet, usually through added carbs. They serve to counteract an existing calorie deficit while keeping weekly calorie intake unchanged to maintain consistent fat loss. We are talking here about days where you increase your calories through carbs and you still keep the same deficit over a whole week. So you will still lose as much fat as you have planned, but you have days where you have more calories and days where you have less calories. So here are the key considerations of a refeed. So the weekly calorie intake remains constant. If you increase intake on certain days, you must compensate by lowering intake on other days to maintain the deficit. For example, you want to be on a deficit of 500 each day, and you have a refeed day where you actually eat maintenance calories, like for 2 days. You have to make sure that you lower this 1000 calories on these 5 other days. Refeeds can be strategically used to boost performance, regulate hormones, and improve diet adherence. Here are potential benefits of refeeds. So normally when you're on a diet, you have less carbs than usual, and this can deplete your muscle glycogen, and this can also lead to reduced energy levels. So you can use refeeds with a strategic timing. So refeeds can improve workouts when scheduled correctly. So when it's scheduled correctly, this is important. For example, when you have hard workouts, you can plan refeeds before intense training days. For example, you hit on Monday a heavy leg day, then you can use a refeed on Sunday to make sure that you have a bit more energy on your Monday's leg day. Also, when you use muscle specialization, you can boost carbs before focusing on a specific muscle group. For example, when your main goal is to get a bigger chest, and you can use a refeed or maybe 2 refeeds day, one before your chest day and the other day when it's time for your chest day or push day, for example. And you can use this also when you have a weight loss plateau. You can use refeeds to counter excessive deficits. But this is actually very tricky, and you may have to do other things to get rid of a weight loss plateau. So you will have also hormonal regulation, so sustained calorie restrictions lowers key hormones, for example leptin, thyroid hormones, and testosterone. Periodic carb increase can help reverse negative adaptation. These are the potential benefits of refeeds. So we have here another beautiful designed page, and I want to ask you if there's something different on this page, then tell me. So you will also have improve, or some of you can improve. Some people benefit psychologically from planned higher calorie days. However, for others, the stricter deficit on non-refeed days may be demotivating. For some people it can be motivating, for some people not. You may try it, and if this is something for you, it can definitely improve your consistency. And as you know, consistency is the key. This is how you can implement refeeds. You can use your data from the last 3 to 4 weeks. Then you calculate your actual calorie expenditure based on recent diet progress, not old maintenance levels. So if you calculate and if you track everything right, you will have exactly your deficit, and then you can go to step 2, maintain the weekly deficit. So if you have calculated from the past 3 to 4 weeks, you will find out your actual deficit, and then on step 2 you have to maintain your weekly deficit. If you eat 500 calories more on refeed days, compensate by reducing 100 calories per day on other diet days. So if you have like 1 refeed day per week and your refeed day has 500 calories more, it would mean that you have to eat on the 6 other days like 80 calories less than usual, or 83.3 calories if you want to have this accurate. For example, we use Tim. So Tim's refeed plan. His goal is to lose 0.5 kg per week. So he should be in a total weekly deficit of 3,500 calories. The diet structure looks like this. He has 5 deficit days and 2 refeed days. So his daily deficit on his 5 diet days is around about 700 calories per day, which is also going to lead to a total deficit of 3,500 calories, which also means he will lose the same amount of body weight per week. And we have also here the refeed increase. So Tim adds 700 calories on his refeed dates, focusing on carbs, which means he can eat 170 grams of carbs during his refeed days. So you will increase the carbs while you keep the proteins and the fat stable, so you can increase just your carb intake to focus on special days. Another beautiful design page. Here on the left you can see food from my wifey, and this is a special scenarios for caloric surplus on refeeds. So you're still on a diet, you're still cutting, and you can implement refeeds even with a caloric surplus if this is the case. So when you have extremely depleted glycogen stores, which means you feel totally flat, you still can't get a pump even though you hit a pre-workout meal with 3 grams of salt, for example. So if glycogen is near empty, carbs will primarily go into storage rather than being burned for energy. So your body is very smart, and when you're on a diet, it's like on a survival mode. It does everything to save you because your body doesn't know that you want to get aesthetic or ripped as fuck. So we have here also a formula. To find out your maintenance calories, we have to add up the expenditure with empty glycogen stores and multiply this with 4.1 calories per gram. For example, if you have burned 2000 calories a day, you need 300 grams carbs to refill your glycogen on this day. This will also lead to your new intake target. For example, you burn 2000 calories, then you add this up with 300 multiplied with 4.1, and then you will go to your new calories, and this is then 3230 calories a day. So with you also the second scenario, if there is uncertainty about expenditure, it's better to slightly overshoot your refeed calories than underestimate them. Aim for 100 calories more than rather risking an underfeed. This is for people who are doing like more a chilled cut, like for the summer. If you are on a prep, so you want to go on stage, this is something different. You shouldn't overshoot too often, otherwise you won't fit into your time plan. Here are the key takeaways for your refeeds. Refeeds are short term, like mostly 1 to 3 days a week, where you increase your calories. It's typically done through added carbs. On refeeds, you will maintain the weekly deficit by adjusting other diet days. Benefits can include your performance, hormone balance, and the diet consistency. Use refeeds strategically based on your needs. For example, if you have weak points or very hard workouts, you can time this with refeeds very well. And I have also another option for your diet, which is also better in my opinion than refeeds. But you can also share your opinion about refeeds if you have tried them, if you have used them. Share your experiences, your tips, and ask questions. Otherwise, guys, stay disciplined and we will see us in the next episode. Let's go.